Hello students, welcome back to my channel. This is the second lecture of the chapter Cell, the structural and functional unit of life. If you haven't watched the first part of this chapter, I would suggest hit the pause button, go down to the description box, click on the link that will take you to the first part of this chapter and then come back to this video. Otherwise, let's get started. The topics that will be covered in today's lecture are structure of a cell, difference between plant cell and animal cell, protoplasm, definition of cell, the 5-mark answer which I promised in my previous video, and the important questions which are expected from the topics that will be covered today. So what is the structure of a cell? A generalized cell consists of 3 essential parts. First, the cell membrane, which is also known as the plasma membrane. 2. Cytoplasm. 3. Nucleus. So these 3 make up the essential parts of the cell. Let us understand it in a little broader manner. Suppose the swimming pool over here is comparable to the plant cell structure that I've shown over here. The rim of this swimming pool may be compared to the cell membrane over here. We must remember that since this is a plant cell, there is an outer cell wall which we will come in our later slides. But this dark colored region, this outline, this is the cell membrane or the plasma membrane. This is comparable to this rim of the swimming pool. The water over here is comparable to the cytoplasm inside the cell, this grayish color over here. And these tiny humans that are floating on the water may be compared to these cell organelles. And the blue part over here with the condensed region, this is known as the nucleus. Now let us come on to what are cell organelles. Most parts of a cell have a definite shape, a definite structure and a definite function. Such parts are known as organelles. Why these are called organelles? Just as our body is made up of organs, similarly the cell is made up of tiny organs which are known as organelles. Therefore, organelles are also known as little organs. Now let us see what are the parts of a cell. So a cell will have 2 parts, a living part and a non-living part. The living part, which is common to all cells, is the cell membrane, and the non-living part in case of plant cell only is the cell wall. Here I have shown the diagram of a plant cell. So this dark green structure over here, this is the cell wall which is the non-living part of the cell. So in the cytoplasm, the living parts are endoplasmic reticulum, which is also known as ER, ribosomes, mitochondria, Golgi apparatus, lysosome, centrosome, which is found only in animal cells, plastids, which is only found in plant cells, and the non-living part in the cytoplasm are granules, vacuoles and fat droplets. Inside the nucleus, we have living part, nuclear membrane, nucleoli and chromatin fibers. There are no non-living part inside the nucleus. Now let us discuss each cell organelle one by one. First, the cell wall. The cell wall is present in plant cells only. This is the non-living outermost layer in plant cells. They are mainly composed of cellulose, which we know is a polymer of carbohydrate, and they are freely permeable. That means any ions, salt, solute, solution can directly enter into the cell with the cell wall. The cell wall has the gates which is open to all. Anything can come inside the cell and anything can go out of the cell. This is the meaning of freely permeable. So what are the functions of the cell wall? It gives rigidity and shape to the plant cell. It allows substances in solution to enter and leave the cell without hindrance. Since it is freely permeable, therefore any substance can easily come inside the cell or leave the cell without any disturbance. And finally, it provides the cell with protection. The next cell organelle is the cell membrane, which is also known as the plasma membrane. It is the outermost layer in animal cells and lies next to the cell wall in plant cell. This is the diagram of an animal cell. This black outline is the cell membrane. The cell membrane is very thin, flexible, and it is a living membrane. It possesses fine pores, and the cell membrane is selectively permeable or semi-permeable. What does that mean? That unlike the cell wall, anything and everything cannot enter inside the cell through the plasma membrane. The plasma membrane has pores or gates through which only certain substances are allowed inside the cell and only certain substances are allowed to leave the cell. Everything cannot enter and leave the cell, unlike the cell wall. And finally, the cell membrane is made up of lipoproteins. This is a biomolecule which is composed of lipid and protein. So what are the functions of the cell membrane? It separates the cell content from the surrounding. So whatever is inside the cell is separated from the outside by the cell membrane. It regulates entry of certain solutes and ions only, and it maintains shape in case of animal cells. Next we come to cytoplasm. The cytoplasm is a semi-liquid substance, colorless, watery, partly transparent. Occupies most part of the cell inside the plasma membrane excluding the nucleus. So the orangish color over here, this is the entire cytoplasm on which these cell organelles are floating, and this is the nucleus over here. Cytoplasm is not present within the nucleus, but in case of all other organelles, the cytoplasm is present and the organelles are floating on this cytoplasm. They contain various cell organelles. What are the functions of the cytoplasm? Different cell organelles perform various functions within the cytoplasm. All metabolic activities occur here. Since every cell organelle is present on the cytoplasm and they are performing their functions which are essential for the survival of the organism, therefore one may say that all metabolic activities occur within the cytoplasm. Next we come to endoplasmic reticulum, which is also known as ER. So the ER is an irregular network of tubular double membrane. This is an important point, that the ER is the double membraned organelle. It is continuous with plasma membrane from outside and nuclear membrane on the inside. We can see here, this is how an endoplasmic reticulum looks. It is connected on the inside with the nuclear membrane and on the outside with the plasma membrane. We can see this clearly over here. This blue colored structure is the endoplasmic reticulum. On one end it is connected with the nuclear membrane and on the other end it is connected with the plasma membrane. The ER may be smooth or rough depending on the attachment of ribosomes. Ribosomes are another cell organelle, and if the ribosome is attached to the endoplasmic reticulum, it is known as the rough ER. Over here in the down picture we can see that small circular ribosomes are attached on the ER. So this is known as the rough endoplasmic reticulum, and when the ribosomes are not present on the ER, it is known as smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Function: they are the supportive framework of the cell. We can see over here it is holding the cell together. Synthesis and transport of protein and fat. So the protein and fat are being produced inside the nucleus, in the ribosomes. You can say they are therefore the home where these fats and proteins are being produced. Next we come to ribosome. This is how a ribosome looks like, basically the shape of an 8. It has a large subunit and a small subunit. The ribosome are numerous small granules either scattered in the cytoplasm or attached to the membranes of ER. Function: they are the factory of protein synthesis. So we know that protein is a very important biomolecule and ribosomes produce these proteins. Mitochondria. Mitochondria is various shaped, but usually it looks like a sausage. This is again a double-walled organelle inner wall thrown into folds called cristae. So if you look at the diagram over here, we can see that this inner wall is thrown into these folds, which are known as the cristae. So what are the functions of mitochondria? Release of energy from food in the form of ATP or adenosine triphosphate. We know that the main source of energy for all organisms is ATP, and this ATP is generated within the mitochondria. This is the site of aerobic respiration, and since the mitochondria provides the cell with all the energy, it is known as the powerhouse of the cell. Next we come to Golgi apparatus. This is how a typical Golgi apparatus looks like. This was first discovered by the scientist Camillo Golgi. These are stacks of flattened membrane sacs. This is how the Golgi looks like. They consist of tubules and vesicles. So these are the tubules, the long ones, and these small ones budding off from these tubules are known as vesicles. Function: they are involved in the synthesis, secretion and transportation of enzymes, hormones and etc. You already know that enzymes and hormones are important biochemicals that are produced within the body, and the Golgi apparatus is involved in the synthesis, secretion and transport of them. Also, they are known as the delivery system of the cell because they carry the proteins and the enzymes and the hormones, fats which are produced in the ER, and they transport it to various other parts of the cell. Hence they are known as the delivery system of the cell. Next we come to lysosomes. So lysosomes are membranous sacs budding off from the Golgi apparatus. They contain different types of enzymes within them. The functions of the lysosome are intracellular digestion. Just as we digest our food, similarly the food of the cell is digested by the lysosome. They destroy any foreign substance. Whenever something unwanted enters the cell, these lysosome basically kills them. When cell is old or injured, lysosomes rapidly destroy the organelles. That is, if the cell is injured or it is old, then what these lysosomes do, they burst out and they kill all the other cell organelles, and therefore the cell itself is killed. Therefore the lysosome is also known as suicidal bag. Centrosome. Centrosome is an organelle which is present in animal cell only. It is located near the nucleus. It contains one or two centrioles. So this is the structure of the centrosome, and within the centrosome two centrioles are present which looks like this, and these ray-like structures which come out from the centrosome is known as microtubules. What are the functions of centrosome? From the cell theory, we know that cells arise from pre-existing cells, that is, the cell divide. One cell will divide to give two cells, two will divide to give four, and so on. So the function of the centrosome is that they initiate or start and regulate cell division. Plastids. Plastids are present in plant cell only. Plastids may be leucoplast, chromoplast and chloroplast. Chloroplast contain chlorophyll, which we know is involved in the photosynthesis. Function of these plastids: the leucoplast, it stores starch. Potatoes contain a lot of leucoplast, therefore potato is a high source of starch. Chromoplast, it is colored and they impart colors to flowers and fruit. Various pigments are xanthophyll, carotene. We know carotene is present in carrots, so the orangish color of the carrot is because of the chromoplast. And finally chloroplast, it traps solar energy for photosynthesis. Granules and vacuoles. Vacuoles are clear spaces with water or other substances or cell sap in solution. Cell sap is basically a solution of water, salts and other minerals which is mainly found in plant cells. The vacuole is covered by a covering known as tonoplast. So this is a plant cell. This one is a vacuole. So the covering over here is known as tonoplast. Plant cells have larger vacuoles than animal cells. Animal cells mostly do not contain vacuoles. Even if they do, it will be very small and very temporary and short-lived. Whereas in case of plant cells, the vacuoles are going to be very, very large, and every plant cell will have at least one vacuole. Granules are small particles which may be crystals or droplets. Function: vacuoles store water and other substances like food, pigment, etc. Granules store starch, which serves as the food for the cell. Now we come to one of the major cell organelles, which is known as the nucleus. So nucleus is the largest cell organelle. It is spherical and dense. The nucleus will have nuclear membrane, nuclear pore, nucleolus, nucleoplasm, and thread-like structures which is known as chromatin. Nuclear membrane, just like the cell membrane, has pores which allows substances to enter and leave the nucleus. Just like the cytoplasm, the nucleus has nucleoplasm. The nucleus carries the hereditary material which is known as chromatin fibers, and these thin thread-like chromatin fibers condenses to form chromosome. This is the chromosome which carry the genes. What is the function of the nucleus? It regulates cell functions. So most of the proteins that are needed by the cell is produced inside this nucleus, and various other functions are produced by the nucleus. The chromosome bear the genes which is known as the hereditary units, also known as DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. Nucleolus, which is this dark dense region over here, it participates in protein synthesis by forming and storing RNA. RNA is ribonucleic acid. We will discuss DNA and RNA in details in our upcoming chapters. So cells can have nuclear membrane or they may not have nuclear membrane. So the cells without nuclear membrane are known as prokaryotic cells, example bacteria. And the cells which do have nuclear membrane is known as eukaryotic cells. Examples include plants, animal, fungi, human being. Most of the organisms which we do see from our eyes are made up of eukaryotic cells. Now we come to differences between plant cell and animal cell. Since we have studied all the cell organelles in details now, we can easily differentiate between plant cell and animal cell. Plant cells are usually larger with distinct outlines. Animal cells are usually smaller with less distinct outlines. A plant cell has a definite cell wall which is made up of cellulose, as we can see over here in this plant cell diagram. This is the cell wall. Animal cells do not contain a cell wall. The cytoplasm is less dense in plant cell, and the cytoplasm is more dense and more granular in case of animal cells. In plant cells, vacuoles are going to be present. They are very prominent. Plant cells will definitely have a vacuole. They may have even more than one vacuole, a large prominent one. Vacuoles in case of animal cells may be absent, and even if they are present, they will be small and temporary. Plastids are present in plant cell and plastids are absent in animal cell. Centrosome is absent in plant cell and centrosome is present in case of animal cells. So if you get to differentiate between plant cell and animal cell, this is the chart that you will be providing, and along with that you will provide the diagram of the plant cell and the animal cell. So what is protoplasm? Protoplasm is translucent fluid, colorless, grayish or brownish in color. It is the total living matter, the total living substance of the cell, that is the cytoplasm and the nucleus. That is the whole of the cell consisting of the cytoplasm and the nucleus is known as the protoplasm. Protoplasm is equal to cytoplasm plus the nucleus. Now we come to definition of a cell, as I promised in the previous lecture. So the cell is the basic structural and functional unit of living things consisting of protoplasm enclosed by a cell membrane with additional cell wall in plants and having a nuclear membrane or without it. The one having it is eukaryotic cells and the one without the nuclear membrane is known as prokaryotic cell. And the cell performs all the essential functions for the survival of the living organism. Here you can also add the names of the cell organelles which are present in plant cell and animal cell. Also, do not forget to provide the diagram of a cell and don't forget to mention whether it is an animal cell or a plant cell. If you are drawing an animal cell, do label the cell organelles which are exclusively found in the animal cells, and if you are drawing the plant cell, do exclusively write the organelles which are present in plant cells only. And if you do that, you will get full marks for this question. Now, these are the important questions which are expected from today's lecture. You have to know the characteristic and function of each cell organelle that we have studied today. You might also get questions like name the organelle which is known as the powerhouse of the cell, name the organelle which contains the hereditary units. So you need to know the functions of each of the cell organelles very clearly. You must know the name of the cell organelles which are present only in plant cells, cell organelles which are present only in the animal cells. And yeah, these are the questions which you will be expecting from the section that we have covered today. And with that, we come to the end of this chapter. Thank you. If you enjoyed the video and found it helpful, please like, share and subscribe to Biology with Sukanya. I'll see you in my next video. Until then, goodbye.